With Atossa Soltani, straight from the Ecuadorian Amazon, the project, the Sacred Headwaters Project. Atossa, what is that?
Well, the Sacred Headwaters initiative started about 5 years ago when leaders from various nations, indigenous nations, of Ecuadorian Amazon and also northern Peruvian Amazon came together and realized that they can't just keep fighting oil projects, mining projects, one place at a time, one oil block or one mine at a time, that they needed to work together not only to strengthen their alliance and unity and to work together to call for permanent protection of this area, and also to really call for a shift in the economic model from an economic model that's based on resource extraction and devastation, domination of nature, to one that is in harmony with nature, one that uses indigenous philosophy of buen vivir, or living in harmony with nature, the idea of well-being, to really design an economic system that's about forests and people flourishing and aligning, ecological and biological productivity with financial prosperity. And so this vision of building the new economy based on living forests, based on standing forests, was the thing that inspired the alliance to come together. They were really good at saying no to what they don't want, but they wanted a vision of what they say yes to, which is really about this well-being economy. So we've spent the last 5 years building an alliance, helping develop a bioregional plan. It's called the Bioregional Plan 2030.
And this is in Ecuador and northern Peru.
Yes, because often they're divided by a political border, but actually they're the same watersheds. It's the watersheds of the Napo and the Pastaza Marañón rivers. It's really one bioregion. And to see the landscape as one integrated unit as opposed to these different counties and different countries is really helpful, because then you can really design for the entire watershed. The health of the watershed is at the center of planning. And it's been really amazing also because most of these indigenous nations that live on Ecuador side also have families and relatives on the Peru side. They were divided by an arbitrary border during a war. It wasn't really a natural border. So these indigenous peoples like the Shuar and the Achuar and the Quichua are the same nations on both sides of the border. So they've started to unite their people across the border and to really see their territories as one territory, as opposed to, the Peruvian or the northern Ecuadorian Amazon. So we've been building strength of this alliance. We've been helping indigenous peoples develop their own capacities to defend their territories, have lawyers, have communication strategies, have life plans, which really look at how you protect the whole of the forest.
And you got involved in this because you were the director of Amazon Watch.
Yes, I founded Amazon Watch, or founded me, in 1996, and I was the executive director for 18 years. And then I realized I wanted to just be in the forest and listen to what needed to emerge next and not be running an organization. And so I left. I'm still the president of the board, so I love Amazon Watch and the work we do in the world. It continues to do powerful work. It's growing its teams in the field, and is really standing up to corporations and investments and working on basically giving indigenous people's voices more power, more visibility, and has been very successful targeting investors. But so just to finish, I left that organization as an executive director, continue as a board member, but really wanted to see what needed to emerge. And so that's when I ended up in Ecuador and Peru with indigenous people, having these long conversations about what was needed next. And the Sacred Headwaters is what emerged in those conversations, this idea that we not only say no, but we help foster this transition, ecological transition, to what we do want. And we really call for permanent protection, because many of these oil and mining projects, we've been successful at stopping them, but only for a bit, and they come back over and over. The governments continue to propose them. So we're just locked in these battles, and we just felt like we needed to go on a broader strategy of proposing solutions It's kind of modeled after what happened in the Great Bear Rainforest in the British Columbia rainforest, coastal rainforest, where indigenous peoples united with the NGOs, and they launched a campaign that was been 20 years, and they eventually reached a collective agreement with government, with industry, about protecting 85% of the Great Bear Rainforest and to promote alternative economies. And so that's kind of the model that we looked at and said, can we do that in the headwaters of the Amazon? We have the most biodiverse rainforest on planet Earth, and so why not attempt to do something like that there? If we can figure out in the most biologically productive system on Earth, where there's the largest collection of all plants and animals and vibrant indigenous nations, if we can figure out there how to live in harmony with the Earth and have economic prosperity and ecological flourishing be twin goals linked together, then we can help create a model for the rest of the world.
Well, I was going to ask why this is important for everybody. I think you just answered the question.
Well, yes, and also to remember that the Amazon rainforest serves as not only the lungs of the Earth, which is the way that the Amazon absorbs CO2 and breathes out oxygen, but the Amazon rainforest serves as the heart of the weather system, the water system, the hydrological system of planet Earth. Trees in the Amazon lift upwards of 1,000 liters per tree per day in form of water vapor. They evapotranspire. They like sweat out vapor that generates these atmospheric rivers that bring rain into the South American continent, but they also bring rain all the way to California, where some of our rain comes from the atmospheric rivers from the Amazon. So we are one Earth, we are one system. The Amazon is a vital organ of our biosphere, and it's at a tipping point of no return where the system could collapse. So we have very little time to basically protect and restore 80% of the Amazon rainforest in order to maintain vibrant, that heart, that pumping heart, the rain machine, and literally vital organ of the biosphere.